Okay, so my objective here is to really get you to maybe look into the information at least in a different light. That the description and the history of this being is radically different than the image that we see that people are trying to say are these people who could be the Antichrist. And then, as I'm telling you, all of that's really all about confusion. They're fulfilling themselves symbolically so that when this real being comes, you'll be taken off guard and you'll think that quite possibly that this is the real Christ. Okay? So my real motivation for hoping to share this information with you is just to give you a deeper perspective to help you make the correct choice concerning what's the truth. Now, of course, you can think any way you like, and I know that a lot of people got information out there. I'm not telling anybody they're wrong. I'm not trying to argue with nobody. I don't argue with people. If you believe a certain way, I'm not going to call you names. I'm not going to curse you. I'm not going to judge you. Hey, I'm mature, okay? I know that many people think differently than I do, and I'm smart enough to not find people that I have differences with and then spend time arguing for hours. No, I'm progressive. I'm going to move forward. I understand the path that I'm on and the truth that it reveals to me. If the path that you're on creates this confliction and this argument and this problem all the time, chances are you ain't on the right path. So that's kind of simple. So my hope is to show you just a different perspective and not to create some battle of what you believe to be scripturally correct. I'm just going to show you historically and scripturally these beings are described as powerful, large in stature, and that we just saw the Antichrist himself was being described in the same manner. So right here in chapter 4 of Job, verse 10, it's describing these fallen sons of God as lions. And the point that I want you to see here is that they're going to be described as stout, just like what you saw in Genesis, that these descendants of the sons of God were termed mighty men, men of old, men of renown. Of course, the Bible considers them to be giants as it progresses into the Old Testament. So at this point, the roaring of the lion, all right, maybe I should read here. By the blast of God they perish, and by the breath of his nostrils are they consumed. The roaring of the lion, and the voice of the fierce lion, and the teeth of the young lions are broken. The old lion perisheth for lack of prey, and the stout lion's whelps are scattered abroad. Okay, I'm going to stop right there because there's an incredible amount more deep information in this, but to stay streamlined, we got to keep it simple with the topic we're on. We just see this description here of these various lions and their characters. What we're really all talking about is these varying stages of the sons of God. And of course, as they're getting older, I told you they live 500-year lifespans and then they eventually die. And of course, the stout lions, as they're younger, the lion's whelps, they've been scattered abroad. So we get this description here of these lions, these sons of God, being described as stout. And then if you look at Ezekiel 19, where we've already looked at, we understand how these sons of God have been deceived, and it's been done through the Queen of Heaven, Ishtar, Isis, Lilith. And you look into that information from video 15 on, you'll understand. So there we have it. We got a simple comparison between these sons of God as being stout, and then we have a simple comparison between the Antichrist being the same description. Now, when you pair this with what we know about the sons of God being giants and all that other stuff, it's not too hard to perceive that there's a possibility that if these beings themselves, as the locust, when they return, are going to be more physically large and more physically strong, you know, if their king is actually Apollyon, as we see it recorded in Revelation 9:11, and these locusts are going to come upon the earth in physical form, well, wouldn't you think that the Antichrist would also fulfill himself in such a way that he's not going to be any less of something that those that serve him are? So as these locusts appear in this physical form, as you're seeing being described as stout, large, in every which way the Bible declares, even on down to the giant descendancy, and we'll look in that, then the Antichrist being fulfilled in a physical form, being the king over these beings, he also should be one of physical great stature. In other words, very stout. I'll be back.